everyone, and thank you for joining us for this January 7th Board of Education meeting. As we call the meeting to order, if you plan to make public comment this evening, please complete the comment card and give it to Mrs. Keller at this time. Also, I would ask that we silence our cell phones or remove hats as we stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, can we do the roll call, please, Mrs. Keller? Haney?
Present.
Hanson?
Present.
Montague?
Present.
Murphy?
Present.
Odell?
Present.
Ramber?
Present.
And Love? Present. All right, I need a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, first up this evening, is our appointment of our recording secretary for the 2026 calendar year. And it is the administrative recommendation, to appoint Michelle Callard as recording secretary for the 2026 calendar year. Do I have a motion? I'll make the motion to appoint Michelle Callard as the recording secretary for the 2026 calendar year. Do I have support?
Support.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And nobody's gonna oppose that. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle, as always. Yeah, I mean, you can try. All right, and we are moving along with our, appointments of officers this evening. Actually, before we get to our board officers, we have the appointment of the, district treasurer. It is the administrative recommendation to, appoint Kylie Rush once again as the administrator to assume specific responsibility of the treasurer for the 2026 calendar year. Again, I would make the motion to appoint Kylie Rush as the administrator to assume specific responsibility of the treasurer for the 2026 calendar year. Do I have a second?
Support.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mrs. Rush isn't even here to try to defend herself this evening. All right, and then we will move along to our, election of board officers for the 2026 calendar year. So as per usual for our first January meeting for the calendar year, the board shall elect president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer to, serve in these roles for the 2026 calendar year. Starting with the officer of president, I will call for nominations for the office of president. Are there any nominations for the office of president? Mr. Murphy?
Yeah, I'd like to nominate Steve Murphy for office of president.
Okay, Steve Murphy, nominating Steve Murphy for office of president of the Board of Education. Are there any other nominations for the office of president? Mr. Montague?
I'd like to nominate Ms. Sherry Luck for office of president.
Jared Montague nominates Sherry Luck for the office of president of the Board of Education. Are there any other nominations for office of president? All right, seeing none, there are two nominations on the board, so we will, first the nomination for Steve Murphy for office of president. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay. So that was 2 in favor, 4 opposed, 5 opposed. Count tonight. And then the nomination for Sherry Luck for office of president. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
So, in contrary, 5 ayes, 2 nays. With the majority vote, Sherry Luck is named president for the 2026 calendar year. That's always the most awkward one. Okay, we'll move on.
Thank you for your service.
No, you're welcome. Yes, thank you for entrusting me with the responsibility. Okay, up next for vice president, I will call for nominations for office of vice president. Are there any nominations for office of vice president? Mr. Murphy?
Yeah, Steve Murphy would like to nominate Steve Murphy for vice president.
Steve Murphy nominates Steve Murphy for office of vice president. Are there any other nominations for the office of vice president? And I would like to nominate Jared Montague for office of vice president. So Sherry Luck nominates Jared Montague for office of vice president. Any other nominations for the office of vice president? All right, seeing none, the first nomination is for Steve Murphy for office of vice president. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
So that's 1 and 1A, 6 nays. All right. And then the nomination for Jared Montague for the office of Vice President. All those in favor?
Aye.
And opposed?
Nay.
So the opposite, 6-1. With that, Jared Montague is named Vice President with the majority vote. Thank you, once again, for your service in this role. All right, Office of Treasurer. I will call for nominations for the Office of Treasurer. Are there any nominations for the Office of Treasurer?
I'd like to nominate David Haney for the office of treasurer.
Okay, Brooke Hanson nominates Dave Haney for the Office of Treasurer. Are there any other nominations for the Office of Treasurer? All right, seeing none, we will go ahead and vote. You're gonna get out of this one, Dave, but we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor of Dave Haney in the Office of Treasurer? Aye. Opposed? Look at that, unanimous.
Nice.
Unanimous, trusting you with this. Very good, thank you, Dave. All right, and then last but not least, I will call for nominations for the Office of Secretary. Are there any nominations for Office of Secretary? Mr. Haney?
I'd like to nominate Ms. Brooke Hanson for the office of secretary.
Dave Haney nominates Brooke Hanson for Office of Secretary. Are there any other nominations? Mr. Murphy?
Yep. Steve Murphy would like to nominate Steve Murphy for the office of secretary.
Okay, Steve Murphy nominates Steve Murphy for the Office of Secretary. Any other nominations for Office of Secretary? All right, seeing none, we have 2 nominations. The first one is for Brooke Hanson for Office of Secretary. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
All right, so that's 5 yes, 2 no's. And then the nomination for Steve Murphy for Office of Secretary. All those in favor?
Aye.
And opposed?
Nay.
So that's 2-5 opposite, so Brooke Hanson is named as secretary with the majority vote. All right, well, we got that duty out of the way for the 2026 calendar year. We will start this evening with our reports and announcements, and up first, we'll have Ms. Ella Clark with the student board report.
Hi, good evening, everybody. So it's only been a few days since we've gotten back from winter break, so it's a significantly shorter update and focus on the high school. But I'm sure there will be so much at the next meeting. So at the high school, students are savoring their last days of the first semester before exams. The exams are next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then student council recently started advertising for a snow coming dance, which will be February 7th, and there are multiple gift card raffles involved for those who buy tickets, and the dance will be in the gym. And then moving on to sports, both girls and boys basketball teams are looking forward to playing Fenton at Fenton this Friday, and girls competitive cheer is participating in their first Metro League competition right now at the high school. That's all I have.
All right, very good, thank you, and I hope you had a nice winter break, relaxing holiday season. I know it went by really fast, so. Russ, you are up next with superintendent report.
Thank you, and thank you for those that are in attendance this evening. Happy New Year and welcome back. Today was a half day for students. During the second half of the day, our instructional staff used the time for professional development on interim benchmark assessments. So kudos to Ms. Thomas for her work in getting that organized and working with our staff moving forward. As Ella mentioned, end of our first semester is on Friday, January 16th. End of semester information, including exam schedules, can be found on our school's websites. And the 3D Consortium. This morning, myself and the superintendents from Fenton and Lake Fenton presented information on the 3-district consortium to the Genesee County Superintendents Association. And this association, so everybody's aware, includes superintendents from all of the public and private schools in Genesee County. And then Board Appreciation Month. January is School Board Appreciation Month. Linden Community Schools board members are and have been champions for our students. Thank you to our extraordinary school board members. Your guidance and decision-making are crucial in shaping the future of our students and providing them with the best opportunities to learn and grow. So again, thank you very much for your service and what you do for our students. And that's all I have.
Perfect, thank you, Russ. Any board members with reports this evening? All right, presentations or recognitions this evening. There are no administrative updates this evening, which brings us to public comments. And I do understand we have one public comment this evening.
We do, we have Kate Tripp here to talk with us.
Hello, my name is Kate Tripp, and I'm from Hyde Elementary, Miss McCormick's classroom 10. Our school just had construction and over a new part of the building, and we are now welcoming our preschool half. But we are still working on our library. My Girl Scout troop is selling cookies this season, and I was wondering if any of you would like to order some.
That is the most adorable proposition I've ever had during public comments. I'm sure many of us, if not all of us, will at least buy one box of cookies. So Mr. Sosowski will follow up with you afterwards as well.
I also do gymnastics here.
Awesome.
What troop number are you with? Do you know?
Troop 78031.
Okay.
Shelby?
Oh, yeah, it's under, yeah.
Oh, it's right on.
Nice.
What is that, the triangular patch mean?
It's from when we went hiking.
Where'd you go hiking at?
I don't know.
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Do you like school? Do you like Miss McCormick? You have a lot of friends?
Yes.
Good.
So what about that library? Does it need to, do we need to move quicker on it? Is it dragging?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
We've actually never been in the new library.
You haven't got a new one yet?
Not yet.
All right.
It's coming. It's coming.
Soon. When will that be ready for the students?
We are getting to that 80-day stage.
Perfect. Soon, Miss Kate.
Did you bring your cookie sign-up sheet?
Yes.
Okay, come on.
Do you have an online, can you order online too? Do you have like a website?
Just scan the QR code.
Yeah.
I'll be perfect.
I mean,
And you'll
doesn't
go
it
to our
use
cookie
a-
site.
Just not, we need to
Me
get a
either.
picture, I'll get a picture and make sure that the board sees that, how's that? That work out? So, meeting tomorrow.
Today, our troop is doing jobs in store, or is it where you do jobs to earn money, and then we spend it in the stores. It's one of our favorite activities to do.
Awesome.
That's my favorite activity too.
So what kind of job do you have to do tonight? Is Miss Bonico putting you to work tonight? What are you gonna do?
Yeah, there's Walmart for the store, and there is babysitting, waitress, and my salon shop.
Oh,
Sounds good.
Think you can do something with this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do I need a haircut?
I can turn it pink.
Yes.
There you go.
Let's do that. I'm sensitive fundraiser here.
Well, yes, Ms. Kate, thank you for coming to the board meeting tonight and for being so brave to speak to us about all of that's going on at Hyatt and about your cookies and your Girl Scout troop. And we are happy to support you, and please let us know, and tell your friends too, that they can always come to the board meetings and advocate for what they're curious about, what they like to do. We love having students here. So thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Hope you get that.
Yeah, probably worth the 3 minutes. We make exceptions for the
I just, you know,
Liz.
Thank you, Art.
Thank you.
So. That's
I agree. All right, moving along to our consent agenda this evening. Our consent agenda includes the minutes from our regular meeting on December 17th, and then the minutes from our special meeting on December 29th. Do I have a motion to adopt to accept the consent agenda as presented?
so move. Support.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
have, let's see, one action item this evening and then a couple quick discussion items. Our action item this evening is related to compensation for board members. As most of you are fully aware, this comes up also during our organizational meeting at the 1st of January every year. And under our general powers, the board can establish a reasonable rate of compensation, but shall not receive more than $30 per meeting, up to a total of not more than 52 meetings, including special meetings. Last year, we voted to receive 30 per meeting, not to exceed 600 in a calendar year, and individual board members may opt out of receiving compensation. So that's the administrative recommendation, is to continue that or determine a different appropriate compensation for our this calendar year. So, I mean, with that, I think this is one of those things that Mr. Murphy and I always are in alignment on, which in and of itself is just always something. But I know most of us generally do this because we're just volunteering our time, although having a small amount of compensation for gas or just our time is nice for those that choose to take it. I generally do not, and it's up to each individual, but I do support establishing the $30 compensation for not more than 52 meetings per year, if anyone wants to second that.
I'll support that.
Okay, very good. Any other conversation or ideas, comments? All right, with that, we have been moved and supported to establish the compensation of board members at $30 per meeting, up into a total of not more than 52 meetings, which would be like $600, same as this past year. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we have a couple of discussion items this evening. Our first being the Genesee County Association of School Board Members Representative and Alternate for 2026. As you're all aware, each year we have a representative and an alternate from our board, as is each local school district in Genesee County, to attend the meetings, which are generally the third Thursday of each month. So we do need to take action on this at the next meeting. This past 2025 calendar year, Ms. Hanson was our representative, Mr. Montague was the alternate. So I guess if anybody is interested in this, we can have this discussion now, and then we can vote in it at the next meeting. It can go on consent, or we can just make an action at it either way. Sandra?
I have a question, so can the alternate also go to this, or is it just only one board member can go at a time?
I don't think there's a necessary rule about that. There would be one board member that would like, kind of like that's maybe be like the voice of the board at that table. But there's not like voting generally that happens unless it's regarding like the bylaws of the kind of association. So it's not, it's more so just like getting information and bringing information back. Yeah, I don't know, Ms. Hanson, has there been other boards that have had multiple? I can't recall that from when I was the delegate. I don't remember more than one person coming, but there may have been times.
Sometimes some boards bring the alternate, not all the time,
Yeah.
occasionally.
Yeah.
So if we vote on this, can we also make it to where if the delegate wants to go as well, the alternate can go as well, that both people can go?
Well, I don't think that's something we would vote on. I think that would just be if the alternate decides they wanna go, they could just.
So they don't need permission or anything, I think.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know if they're, yeah, it's the Genesee County Association. Yeah, it's not ours, so.
Okay, cause I'm interested, but I'm nervous because I'm so allergic to peanuts, and there is a lot of things I wanna go places it's there and airborne. So I'd like to be, an alternate, but then be able to go to everyone if I can and just kinda see like how much dangers of peanuts are possibly in a room or in the area with, because they do have the culinary and things like that, so sometimes that's the thing, so I can always call and say, hey, is it safe for me to come up and be involved?
I mean, I'm happy to also be the representative or the alternate. Again, this year I know I've done it for a few years. Mr. Montague has, Ms. Hanson has as well. So I don't know, Brooke, are you interested in being the representative again this year, or are you?
I'm happy to be the representative, I may also be serving on the board this year
Okay.
too, so, I'll have more information on that after the next
Mhm.
meeting.
Okay. All right, well, we can, take time to, I guess, noodle on this a little bit more as well, but if Ms. Hanson wants to be the representative, kind of pending her potential involvement on the board for the group, Ms. Ramberg's interested in being an alternate to kind of just check things out. I mean, I think actually anybody can attend anytime they want to, quite honestly. And some of the meetings, like 2 or 3 of them a year, are for any board members anyway, because they're usually bigger events. I'm happy to be an alternate as well. I'm usually influent on those nights anyway, which is why I've kind of done it in the past, and I'm sure Mr. Ryan, I'm sure he would do it too. So.
Yeah, you put me in the mix too.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like, I think any of us would be happy to be an alternate, it's just hard to commit to it, but, Ms. Hanson, if you're gonna be on the board, I could commit to, I could be the primary, Ms. Ramber could be the alternate, I mean, kind of like I knew we were gonna be there anyway, so, that would help, so.
And then if you end up not being able to be there,
Right.
I could be
Yeah.
the alternate.
We just like to have like a gentleman's agreement.
Yeah. Come on, Amy, throw your name in the hat here, let's go, we're waiting on you, alright, anyway, alright, well, it sounds like we kinda got a plan then, we'll plan on maybe Ms. Hanson and myself, Ms. Rainberg as alternates, and then depending on how it goes there, maybe as an
One
alternate
of us
as
will
well, so.
always be there, really.
Yeah,
Good thing.
that's good, so. Alright, very good, well, alright, we'll vote on that at the next meeting, we'll make an action item, Ms. Keller, because we don't have a, kind of a set in stone plan, so we'll just figure it out for them. Alright, the next discussion item is the MEA recognition of the GSRP and lead associate teachers at the Early Childhood Center, group, so we got some information on this from Mr. Siselsky. Ross, I don't know if there's any additional information you wanna share with us on this, or,
No additional information than what I've already shared. So, the GSRP group, I should say, I was contacted by MEA, Michigan Education Association, as well as Michigan Employment Relations Commission. I had a meeting with them, that I believe it was 13 members at the time, with our Early Childhood Center. Our GSRP lead and associate teachers, were looking to be under the MEA umbrella. They basically indicated we had some options as a district. We could voluntarily recognize them, which once that happens, then the negotiation process to develop a brand new contract would begin. Or we can be hands off, and then at that point, they would go to a vote with those particular members. And if 30% of those members voted in favor of being recognized, then we would start that creation of that group bargaining unit at that time. So it's really up to the board, voluntarily recognizing them. It's just a way for the board to say, yeah, you recognize your efforts and, being recognized under the MEA. That other document I shared with you, the GSRP MOU from the MEA, basically indicates that they've already have over 30% of those members or those individuals signed the application with the MEA. So if they do go to a vote, they need 30% of those 13 to say, yes, we want to be recognized for them to be under the MEA umbrella.
one thing I wanted to ask you about that, actually, Ross, is that type of, I guess it's kind of like a resolution or something that they sent us, is that like standard? Is that something that you consider like a standard document? Only reason I ask is because it was very short and very to the point, and that's it, I couldn't move it here a second ago.
What I asked them is, and you see in that MOU, one of the indications is that the MEA has provided us, I'll just read it to you here.
Yeah, because I can't access
Yeah.
it for some reason right now. I saw it in the.
Yeah. So one of the bullet points in the resolution, it says, whereas the union has provided the district with a valid showing of majority support among bargaining unit members in a manner consistent with the Michigan Public Employment Relations Act, or PARA. So at that point, for the voluntary recognition, I had asked them, we don't have that document. So that document basically is indicating that at least 30% of the 13 individuals at our ECC center are in favor of being recognized by MEA.
Anyway, I mean, I'm not necessarily opposed to it, I just was curious, because it's something we haven't really specifically dealt with before, and
I've never dealt with it.
well, the little, like, memo felt a little like, I don't know, it felt a little intimidating, I guess, I don't know why, it felt kinda like, well, this is what we're doing, we're telling you, like, you're bored. I was like, is that like a normal?
It's
like,
normal,
okay.
yeah. Oh, well, it's normal based on my conversations. I have contacted our attorneys, again, I've never gone through this process, So I wanted to make sure, and that's why the meeting with Merck and MEA have taken place already.
So
Yeah,
instead of doing
either way,
Whether we support it or.
whether we voluntarily recognize them or not, it'll go to a vote, which, based on that document, I would anticipate that they would be in favor of being recognized by the MEA.
What comments do you guys have, Steve? Oh, but everybody's got a comment, all right.
Thank you, Mr. Selfie, for providing this information. The document that we got from the MEA, it says, formal notice that the GSRP and tuition-based lead and social teachers have unanimously decided to be represented by the MEA. So they already had some sort of a vote already? You mentioned 30%, I'm seeing 100%.
No, what, the 30% is, that's the minimum threshold. If 30% of the members vote in favor, if they have a vote in favor of being recognized, then that group is recognized, whether the 70% want it or not. Okay, so this document, yes, you are correct. 100% of them signed the application. There's been no vote.
Okay.
There's a process that they start going through on their end. I couldn't give you all the steps. I don't know all the steps of their process.
Okay. And so, basically, we got the option of just voluntarily recognizing what they've basically done here and start negotiating after that point with them? Is that?
Yes.
And will it start on next year's contract, or they kind of got one in place right now?
Yeah,
Our next
I can
one
only
is
say
all-
yes, but I don't know, Steve, because
Okay.
again, it's a negotiation process. So I don't know exactly, when the, confirmation date of that new contract would go into play.
And with the way we're funded by this program from the state, is it kind of, and the tuition is, it's gotta be spent anyways in order to get full tuition? Isn't there a certain amount of cost we have to incur for this program to get fully funded by the?
Well,
Is that
the
correct?
state funds us based on our slots
Yes.
for the GSRP, correct?
Right.
Yeah, and so, GSRP funds have to be applied to GSRP classrooms.
Mm-hmm.
So the teachers, the paraprofessionals, the aides, the associate teachers, resources, anything within the GSRP classroom
Mm-hmm.
can be expensed to GSRP funds.
Right.
Tuition-based, again, they try to, whatever money is brought in, that goes out first, whether it be for salaries, resources, and then general fund money picks up the rest.
Okay, so basically, right now, we're spending enough with our current contract to meet the minimum spending needs for the slot.
Yeah, I may not understand your question, right? We have no minimum spending needs. The state does not say you have to spend a minimum percentage of GSRP money.
To qualify.
Yeah, we qualify, right,
Yeah,
and then we just try to,
just when you kind of explained the funding a while back on this issue, it kind of caught me like, it wasn't as simple as like, we just get the money and then we just spend it like we do with the regular
You are
student
correct.
aid.
it's gotta be for specific
There's kind of.
GSRP.
Yes.
Right.
So, well, my inclination is to, I think, I feel they're a very important part of our organization. I've been speaking to that quite a bit lately, as far as getting a nice, entry level into our district. And, I think because their scale is less than what we typically would pay a teacher in the elementary level, but there are some circumstances because the classes are not as big and the education might not be quite as high for the people that we have. Like, we don't have necessarily all teachers, I don't think, that are all bachelor or, all got their bachelor in teaching.
Not all of them have a teaching certification, that is correct.
Right. So I assume that'll be part of the process of negotiating the contract. But, I know Mr. Rambert spoke highly of getting more money for this group, and I feel the same way. When they're anywhere near close to minimum wage type jobs, I think that's something we gotta really respond to. So, if this is what it takes to get to that point, I don't think it is. I think we've been willing to negotiate whatever was good that they wanted. I think we've been giving that. I don't think we've ever said, no, you can't have what you want. So, but There'll probably will there be some, well, there could be some benefits included in this now that aren't currently there?
Again, all that would have to be
But
negotiated.
it could be additional cost
Yes.
sometimes, so. But, you know, like I said, they're important groups, so, I'm moving forward with letting them vote to negotiate with us. I guess they still have to do that, right? Even if we voluntarily accept them, do they have to still have their vote?
Excuse me, if we voluntarily accept them, they will not vote. It'll be done.
Well, I think they've already voted, so
Yeah.
I'm good. Thank you.
Ms. Garden, go ahead.
I just have a small question. So if they unionize, which I'm totally fine with doing, support that, if some of the teachers do not want to be union, do they have the option of opting out, or do they all have to, if we recognize them right now, does every single person have to join this? Or can they opt out?
My guess is if it's contractual, they would all kind of have to be part of it, yeah.
I apologize, I didn't hear your question.
Yeah, so say like a few of them didn't want to pay union dues and didn't want to be in the MEA, if we recognize them right now and say like, yeah, we're gonna recognize you, do they have the option of opting out if they don't want to be a part of the MEA?
It's a choice that that individual would have.
Okay, so we don't force them into it if they didn't want to do it,
Right.
they can, okay, that makes it to where I'm like, cool, I don't support it, I just wanna make sure that we didn't roll them all in there if they didn't want, some of them didn't want to.
Mr. Andy, did you have something else?
Yeah, so I guess the issue at hand for me is not whether we like it or not, it's do we want to purposefully recognize them before they get to that stage? So this is a train that's coming, we're not gonna be able to stop it anyways. So for me, from my perspective, it's about the optics of it, it's about a show of good faith towards a group of people that are organizing, that have the right to organize underneath the law. So from that aspect, I would be certainly in favor of it.
I agree, and that's what's kind of got me a little bit like, I don't know, turned off by it, I guess, just for a second here, is, I mean, this letter's dated December 18th, nobody's come to a board meeting and said, this is what we're planning to do. Like, it didn't have to come in the formal letter of like, hey, this is what we're doing, like, you're not, like, that's, I think, what's bugging me a little bit about it, not that I disagree with it. If you wanna talk about optics, like, the group kind of presented it in the form of like a them versus us, I feel like, but there's been a few things, like, I guess, along the way with regard to compensation in that group anyway over the last couple of years, but Mr. Ryan, do you have something else?
I think all the points were made, I kind of align with Mr. Haney, I think we're all in general alignment that, as far as I've been on the board, this is my 6th year, we've always negotiated with the union in good faith and been a good partner, seen the union as a good partner, so, I think it's a show of good faith to voluntarily recognize them. I certainly understand your point, and, you know, that could have been done probably a different way, because, yeah, the way it's written does sound like it's a notification and not a discussion, which it technically is, but, yeah, but I can still support it, but I understand that best case scenario probably would have been a better conversation started before we got the letter, so I can see that perspective too.
Mr. Murphy?
Thank you. I guess I'm a little confused about, this seems like a pretty normal process here. I don't feel offended by it at all, that they've negotiated with, the MEA representatives have talked to this group, or vice versa. I don't know who initiated the conversation. But this is fine for me. I'm not offended at all, so, thank you.
All right. Ms. Washington?
Yeah, I don't have mine, sorry. So I kind of understand your point. I know I have looked at our board policies in the past, and there's current board policy that says that current employees have to go through the superintendent. They actually can't come and speak here without special permission from the superintendent. So I think when you're talking about a group that's not unionized, they don't necessarily have someone to speak on their behalf. If they have to have that special permission, it feels pretty awkward, I think, when they're wanting to negotiate just for their own little small group. So I can totally understand why they haven't really come and had this conversation with the board, because it's a really awkward position, I think, for them to have to be in that way. So, I mean, I agree, I think, like you've all said, you know, that good show of faith in the optics and kind of an understanding too of they are kind of the little fish in the big pond in the grand scheme of it right now, so I totally understand why they haven't. Like, I get where you're coming from, but I can totally understand as well why they haven't.
Yeah, and I think it was back a couple of years ago, when we were at the middle school for meetings during the bond work here, there were members of that group that came to board meetings to talk about a different issue, so, you know, but if they were thinking of that policy, then, you know, I can understand that, but it still would have been nice for, I guess, I don't know, I mean, that, we're all in agreement here, it's just, when I saw that, I was like, oh, alrighty then, it's not really like, hey, in alignment with each other, let's work together on this, it felt very much like this is what we're doing, like it or not, you can agree with it or whatever, so. Anyway, alright, Mr. Haney, did you have something else? Oh, okay, okay, very good. All right, well, without any other discussion on this, then we will go ahead and put this on as an action item for the next board meeting as well, so. All right, there is no closed session this evening, so with that,